Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe
Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govinda Madhav Radha Govinda Madhav Shri Radhe
Jaya Radha Govinda Madhava Radha Govinda Madhava Shri Radhe.
Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram.
Jaya Gaurani Time Jaya Gaurani Time Gaurani Time Jaya Gaurani Time
Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jayo Gauranitai.
Prabhupada,
Jai
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada,
Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Ya Shri Radha Govinda Madhav ki jai,
Jai,
Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Gaura
Jai,
ki jai, Shri Radha Damodar ki jai,
Jai,
Shri Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai,
Shri Gurudev ki jai,
Jai.
Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Guru Premanande,
Haribol.
Swagatam, Suswagatam,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Très bien, on va chanter Krishna Lila Stava, si vous voulez bien. Ok. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vidika Satphala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Loke Kadri Prada Sarva Bhagavat Pran Srimad Bhagavat Prabhu Kalidwanto Ditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all the Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you who grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world, O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees, O Lord, you are the sun which has risen to dispel the darkness of the Kali Yuga. You are actually Lord Krishna who has returned among us.
Sarva Bhagavata Prana Shrimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kalidvanto Ditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Shrimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Shri Krishna.
Ramananda Pathaya Premavarshi Aksharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostute. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Shri Krishna himself.
Asadu sadutadayin natine chochatarakam anamunsha kadachin mam premnarikantayo sura. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please do not ever leave me. Please become manifest upon my heart and my throat, accompanied by pure love of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
So, welcome again. Huh? It's a great mercy.
Yes.
Even though it's a minimal amount of devotees, we should always, there's a start to everything. It will build up. Okay.
We are honored to be the first ones.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it's
Sure.
a great start. I just had a talk because sometimes I teach for VIG, so they had a closing ceremony just now for the BV there. And since I was part of the team board of the teachers board there, and I just reminded everyone, these are devotees from all over the world. I told them, please bear in mind that we opened this institute for BV also. So gradually I'm spreading the word across, And of course I don't want to compete with VIG, so I just told them, look, it's in the French medium, So this way, perhaps as they spread the word around, we may get some students outside also. Okay, so would you like to recap a little bit whatever we covered, or even if you want to venture from the beginning, it's always good to have a fresh how the chapter articulates itself. It's always good to, as we cover more grounds, as we move through the Bhagavatam, we should not lose track of the previous sections. So it's quite easy now because we just started. And there's only a few verses covered. So any one of you would like to perhaps recap what we covered?
Achaji, you want to start?
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Well, I remember. We went through the 3 verses of introduction.
Yes, Mangalacharan. Yes.
Mangalacharan, yes, and which describe the object of the book, which is Krishna, of course, and his energies. Chanmadhyasineta.
Yeah.
Then we went into the second verse is more like a glorification of the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, as well as the third one, actually.
Yeah.
Gives the boons.
Yeah.
Maybe I forgot one of them, the second one.
There's Vastu Nirdesh. So the subject matter of the book, then Ashirvad and then Ashirvad and Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we want these 3 verses were, describing the benefits of, the second 2 verses, the benefits of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. You don't have to go through the whole process. It's like you just get directly to the Paramahamsa process if you do it properly.
Yes.
So the third one was explaining how it became even more nectarian because of being recited by Shukadev Goswami.
Yes.
The parrot analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then then we're going into the description of, the story of Srimad Bhagavatam itself.
Yeah.
And especially what I remember mostly, we spoke about the qualities of the speaker and the listeners.
Yes, definitely.
Last time.
It's emphasized, yeah. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Harinishta, Dividyasi, would you like to add up anything? How do you feel?
Yeah, so in the previous class we learned about the nature of human being in Kali Yuga, how they will be
Yes.
busy, quarrelsome, and
Praninal Payusha Sabya. Very short-lived, yeah. Okay.
and also the qualities that one has to have to be able to receive Srimad Bhagavatam, and one who has to deliver Srimad Bhagavatam, what are his qualities?
Yes. Yeah.
What I remember, so that you said, you pointed out how Sutta Goswami, when asked by the sages, the 60,000 sages headed by Sukshanaka Rishi. First, you said also how Sutta Goswami was actually called in front of the assembly by Shukadev Goswami because he knew he would recite.
And I got the quote for that because I know you. I found the quote. I'll give you.
Oh, okay.
That's for me. I will. I found it today. Oh,
and then how Sutta Goswami doesn't answer immediately the questions of the sages. How he first, because the devotee, you said, doesn't speak directly, just first of all is actually praying and asking for the blessings before speaking.
Exactly. This we will see in the beginning of the second chapter. Sutta will answer, and you will see the first 3 verses, he glorifies his guru. Thank you. Thank you, Harinishta and Sundar Prabhu. So yes, we basically, before the great sages at Naimisharanya, we discussed about the glory of Naimisharanya. Remember, the X of the universe. It's a very special place. So they begin their inquiries, and from the speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami, and they glorify him at great length. Then is fit to be heard from because he's freed from vice. He knows Shastra, we have discussed. He has also realized them to some extent. He's such a lofty speaker. He's conversant with the teaching of Vyasadeva. Not only that, but he's also conversant to the different systems of physical, metaphysical knowledge. He's simple-hearted. Somya means very simple-hearted. Snigdasya means submissive. He, towards his gurus, plural form, gurus means Shukdev and his father, Ramashan Sutta, was a great soul. Even though he got beheaded by Srinath Balaram, but he was quite a lofty. He was himself a disciple of Vyasadeva. Can you imagine? So they're going to ask their questions. What is the first question, by the way? You should know them by heart, those questions. Because
we should do the questions.
Yeah, what is the very, very first question? We covered already 1. I would say 2.
Yeah, what is Shreya for the human being?
Yeah, 119. 119 is the very first question, actually. Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. So this is the very first question.
That's the second.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. First question. Yeah.
You anything you want to ask?
No.
Okay.
That's
So they're going to asking questions starting with 9. And we discussed, and Inishta just mentioned, Prayana Palashalusa Sabia, Mondo Sumanda Matayo, people are extremely unfit, unqualified to receive. They don't live enough, long enough. They have difficulty, they are lazy, disrupted all the time. The mind is not pacified, peaceful. So they have difficulty to achieve success in spiritual life, basically. What to speak of tedious study of the Vedas. They're born in Kali Yuga. So that is why from practically the onset of the book, immediately, Sutta Goswami, actually even the sages themselves, even though they were Svarga Kama, beginning we discussed, they were somewhat inclined to liberation or at least to Svargalok, But very soon upon being in contact with such a pure devotee, they're going to refine their consciousness and they're going to be asking the right questions, actually. Immediately, you can see it by the pertinence of their questions, how fast they rectify their consciousness. And obviously, we must focus on the ultimate goal of life from the very beginning of the practice, which is basically the Srimad Bhagavatam. So yes, 119, delineation of the ultimate goal, ultimate good. And to substantiate that, they're going to ask questions. They're going to explain how difficult it is in Kali Yuga. So the predicament is quite heavy. You can see nothing new. How many initiated devotees in ISKCON? Perhaps 1 lakh. Who can commit to such a lofty claim? So then they're going to refine a little bit their questions. In 11, please, about so many types of divisions of the scriptures, but make sure you extract the sar. Sar means yat saram. Saram means la crème de la crème. So, because they know Kali Yuga people cannot spend ample time to study. So give us the cream, Sutta Goswami, Prabhuji. Describe the essence of the question. That is the second question, by the way. I've been sending you some documents. Did you look at it? Look at them?
The 6 questions.
The 6 questions, they are quite elaborated as given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And I'm also lots of footnotes. So you can always refer to those 6. And now I would say, I think we covered up to 11, didn't we?
Oh, oui.
I think we did. 11, I would say. Okay, so let's go for 12 then. Anyone can read 12.
All blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva.
Yes, so this is the third question. And I gave you in that file, in that sheet that I gave you in regard to the 6 questions, I was kind enough to give you where to find the answers. Did you notice?
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, Burijan Prabhu we don't do that. Huh? Burijan Prabhu would tell us, okay, you please look for them. So it's not easy. I mean, you have to be quite vigilant all the time. Where could it be? So this is very important questions. And one of my homework questions was, oftentimes did you notice Srila Prabhupada, he paraphrases shlokas within his purport. So the very bottom of 12, which shlok did he paraphrase? Any clue?
Yeah, I noted a verse. Mataji, you found a verse?
No.
I found 4:3:23.
Wow, now you're talking. Go ahead, Prabhu.
4:3:23 is
See, Lord Shiva is speaking to Parvati. Yeah?
Sattvam Vishudam Vasudeva Sabditam. That's the line Prabhupada quotes through always.
Yeah, very often. Exactly. Exactly.
I'm always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering.
Exactly. So we are talking about Sattvatam Pati, which is the name of Lord Krishna, by the way. Yeah? Krishna has so many names, and as you know, those names carry the attributes of the Lord. Bhaktavatsal, it protects the devotee. Parsalati. Each name conveys an attribute. Sattvatam. So Sat, and there's a verse 17:21, I think, in the Gita. Sadhu Bhavecha, Sadbhave, Sadhu Bhavecha. Everything that is, when we say sadhu means there's that root word, sat. Why they are sadhu? Because they are into sat shakti. They are basically meant to be reinstated in the sat feature of the Lord. Sadvata, same root, Sadvatapati, is basically the pati of the devotees, protector. So since I talked about it, Sridhar Swami mentioned that point, Prabhu. I was telling you in 1344, there is that word there, Nivista. Nivista means Shukdev told Sutta Goswami, you please come close. This is Sridhar Swami is revealing that aspect, that Shukadev knew that Sutta in turn, in due course of time, would deliver again the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is... Now, I've got a quote from the Kumaras here, beautiful quote. As we know, the Kumaras, they were also the recipients of the mercy of Lord Shankarachan. They also got the Srimad Bhagavatam. And they give a beautiful analogy. I mean, it's totally beyond description. They say, it's true that Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence, but because it is the fruit of the tree of Vedic literature, it is superior. The vital fluid of the tree is spread from the root to the tip. And within the tree, it's called sap, the sapping. The vital fluid is within the root, and it extends to the tip of the branches. But you cannot taste. How can you taste the very vitality of the tree, the sap, the sapping? So when that same fluid accumulates in the fruit, why do you think the fruit is so tasty? And you take a peach in the heat of the summer, you can feel how tasty it is. Because it's coming from the fluid within the tree, within the trunk. That is the sapping. And the tree is the recipient of all the fluid within. It accumulates within the fruit, actually. So that is why it is so delicious. And this is coming from the four Kumars. It's such a beautiful analogy. The ghee, same story. The ghee spreads throughout the cow's milk, but you cannot relish the ghee unless and until you take it out of the milk. You follow? So in the same way, the four Kumars are saying, this applies also to the Krishna Lila in the Bhagavatam. In other words, the Bhagavatam extracts the Lila of the Lord. Just as you have to extract the ghee from the milk, you have to extract the fluid from the tree. How? By tasting the fruit. That is why 113 is so important. Nigama kalpatalo dalitam phalam. It has been extracted and on top of that, it has even become more succulent because it has been touched by the beak of Shuk. Okay, so back to 12. What do we hear? What is the main thrust of 12 here? Why do they? It sounds peculiar. It may seem a little bewildering. Why they bless him? Because usually the speaker blesses the audience, but here the audience is blessing the speaker. Why is that?
Actually, in one sense, they are not blessing him, they're saying he is blessed.
Yes, yes. Well, Bhadramte means blessings upon you. So, in other words, Bhadramte, it's all blessings unto you.
Yeah.
So, why? Because any clue? Why? Because I don't want to say it. I want to get it from. I want to extract it from you. Let's put it this way. Arenishta, why? The audience, namely Shonaka Rishi, is offering blessings here.
What I understand is
It's in the purport, actually. You don't have to go that far.
the sages. Yeah, I mean the sages are so much in anxiety. Like the anxiety is almost like, when someone cannot breathe,
Exactly.
they become so much in anxiety. So it's like to that degree, they are in anxiety to hear about the Lord, to know about the Lord.
Exactly.
So having that feeling, that blessing comes so that they in turn can get that blessing to hear about the Lord. Now,
Yeah, exactly. Their intention is to hear about Krishna, and they are quite anxious. When you are anxious about something, let's say you have to say something to someone, and that person is about to leave. So you want to make sure you reach him before he leaves. It happens to you before. Oh, I have to speak to him. It's very important. So in the same way, they want to make sure he's going to stay, he's going to deliver. And practically the first 3 questions among the 6 have to do with this. They should be understood in that light. The eagerness. And because just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, how does it go in Bengali? I'm running after you. I'm running after you. How does it go in Bengali? There's a song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I'm running after you because you hold Krishna in your heart. There's no way around. No, it's not by tedious study of the Vedas. What is the verse in Mahabharata on Maharaj Yudhishthira? Dharmam nihitam guhayam. It's hidden within the heart of the devotee. So they have found such a lofty devotee. They know he's got it. Let me sure he doesn't leave. Let me ask questions. Let me bless him, whatever it takes. I want him to stay, because for what purpose this Krishna, Devakinandan, was born, So here, Jiva Goswami explained, Vasudev, it appears in 12, can also mean Nanda Maharaj. It's interesting. So Bhagwan, it appears also, Bhagwan Sadvatampati. This is Bhagwan, not only avatar, it's avatari. Sadvatampati. Jata. Jata also a very interesting word. Jata means did Krishna take birth? Arinishta? What is reality for Krishna? Should we say he took birth?
No, the word birth, does it apply for Krishna? He appears. I mean, his birth is transcendental. It's not like ordinary.
Sambhavya Matmamaya, 4-6. Samba, actually, Sambhava, it means manifest. It's better than taking birth. We say manifest, 4-6. In other words, Jiva Goswami explains here, he became visible to the residents of this planet. Because Krishna is always aprokot or prakot, manifest or unmanifest. And now he became manifest. Prabhupada used to say only 300 devotees or so knew that Krishna was God. Not that the whole world, even at that time, knew that Krishna is God. Only 300, around 300. So he became visible to the residents of the planet. That's what it means, Jataha here. Okay, so I think we can move on unless you have other things to say. 13. Yes, go ahead.
Regarding Krishna and Nanda Maharaj, so Vasudev, I mean, you mentioned that the name Vasudev can be either Nanda Maharaj or Krishna.
Yes, Jiva Goswami explained that. Yeah. When we say Vasudev, oftentimes we refer to Vasudev and Devaki. But Jiva Goswami adds up, actually can refer to Nanda Maharaj also. Because Vasudev, just like Sundar Prabhu was quoting 4.3.23, Sadvam Vishudam Vasudev Shabditam. Vasudev means someone who is endowed with a consciousness fitting to know Krishna. That is why Lord Shiva is always telling Parvati and others, I'm always in Krishna consciousness because my consciousness is Vasudev. Hare Krishna. Hare Toshan just came. So, in other words, I'm fit, he's saying, Anavritaha. For me, Krishna is uncovered in 4.3.23 because I'm always in Vasudev consciousness. So Vasudev doesn't only mean, okay, Vasudev means Krishna, by the way, with a long A. With a short A, it refers to the Father. Why the Father is the Father? Because he's so Krishna conscious. So Vasudev consciousness means, pure Krishna consciousness. So any one of us can become, Prabhupada is Vasudev consciousness. Any pure devotee has a Vasudev consciousness. So what to speak of Nanda Maharaj? You follow?
Yes.
So, okay, let's move on. We are into 13. You can read the English. It's okay.
O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnation. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, acharyas, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them.
Okay. So here, what is the thrust of the purport? Srila Prabhupada is kind of developing a very good point here. What does it take? What kind of conditions it takes to get the fruit of Srimad Bhagavatam? In other words, the process here is revealed.
Well, to be sincere and eager, Prabhupada said, and basically to hear from somebody in the disciplic succession.
Yes.
I remember what Gopipala Prabhu would used to explain this word bona fide spiritual master. You know, because I never thought you, I'm sure he told you too, no? What is because bona fide, actually, we use some terms, sometimes we don't even know what they mean, but
it's Latin, actually, bona fide.
Latin, bona fide, of good
bona
faith.
fide means it's a Latin expression.
Yeah, and he said it's of good faith.
Yeah.
Good faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Bona fide is, so what's basically parampara system, no?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about parampara. The message is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. You have to become purified. You must be part of parampara. And when the matching is there between sutta is more than fit, and the hearers are extremely fit. You can see the eagerness to hear. So Prabhupada goes, when all these conditions are fulfilled, namely on the part of the hearer, they should be anxious to learn the truth. Then, just like if the man is potent and the woman is fertile, there's going to be a child. Very simple. So in the same way, if the speaker is potent and the hearers are in a good disposition of heart, of mind, there's going to be a fruit. This is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to share was hearing the class by Gurujan Prabhu,
Mm.
and he was mentioning about how hearing from someone who has a divine consciousness, like the power of hearing from someone who has a divine consciousness, it helps to rekindle the divine consciousness in one's heart. So, like Sutta Goswami has divine consciousness, and the sages are so anxious to hear so that their divine consciousness in their heart will be rekindled.
Very good. Very good point. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Sutta Goswami is on a higher platform than the sages. But we will see throughout the Bhagavatam, the spokesman, namely Shunaka Rishi, how much he's going to. It's a jigyashu. You will see when the conversation dies off, Shunaka immediately will come up with something else because he wants to make sure, please go on. I'm not satiated. Svadu, svadu, pade, pade. We're coming to that verse soon. Please, he's going to come up with another question to make sure he doesn't go. So this is eagerness. And with Bhujan, it's like this. We always, Prabhu, what about this? What about that? Because he used to tell us, I think we were part of the last batch, I don't know if he carried on after us, the Srimad Bhagavatam, He used to tell us, well, I'm semi-retired now, let's see how it goes. So we were like, okay, we will make sure, let's let him stay until the end. So,
Which year was that?
well, it was long back. I pulled out in 2008. And I started 2002, so 6 years, nonstop. We were not even aware of practically which day of the week or just like
7 days a week.
I mean, perhaps one day off.
In Vrindavan.
Yeah, Vrindavan, 6 hours a day plus writing essays plus homework. We had two. They were taking turns. Narayani also, a very lofty lady. She's the guru now, Narayani Mataji, and Bhurijana. So, actually, it's a good point. Whether they carried on afterwards, you should ask Prashanta, perhaps. She will tell you. I don't know. That is why he wanted us to take over, because he used to tell us, well, I'm semi-retired now, I may just dwindle gradually, Okay, so we covered 14 is a very key verse. Please tell us about 14. It's a key verse. What is it? 14.
Oh. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. This is the first verse where the glories of the holy name is indicated.
Exactly. So here you can imagine how much the Acharyas comment, Prabhupada himself, Vishwanath, Jiva Goswami. It's a Mahalofty verse. So what is Prabhupada saying in essence in the purport? What is he reminding us?
Krishna. Yeah, sorry, Mataji.
Prabhupada is emphasizing how the power of the holy name, if someone even unconsciously is chanting the holy name, how powerful it is, how one can be freed from the web of the cycle of birth and death. So what to speak of someone who is chanting consciously?
Exactly. Abhinadvam Namanaminoho, they realize it's not different from the name. Krishna is not different from the name. And even Jiva Goswami, he comments on the verse on that term here, Vivasho. Means even if you are absorbed in thinking of other things. Even Namabas, Bhakti Thakur used to say in Harinam Chintamani, Namabas can deliver anything except Prem. So even with Navabas, you can go back, not to Golok, okay, but to Vaikunth. And he says in that book, Nama Paradi means you should try to strive to avoid the offenses. So someone who doesn't even, according to Bhakti Thakur, someone who doesn't even strive to avoid the offenses, it's not even Namaparad. So he's putting the bar very high in Arindam Chintamani. And he says, Namabhas can deliver everything except Prem. So what to speak of Shuddha now? If even here unconsciously, even absorbed in thinking of other things, even that can petrified fear personified. And of course, Vishwanath quotes this story of Ajamil. So you have seen Ajamil. Ajamil is calling his most junior most son Narayan, but his intent was not even to please Narayan. But yet he called his name at the dire time of death. And he made it. I mean, he made it in the sense he avoided hell. And he had a second chance. So, yeah. Okay. You stop me if you want to add up anything, always.
Well, yeah, we're saying that these sages, they are, like you said, they are Svargakama, but it seems like when they have such a knowledge, I mean, yeah. Whatever he says, it seems he's completely realized. So how can they be not, like in devotional service?
Yeah, it's a very good point. Well, I'm just repeating, I think it's Vishwanath who says that. In the very beginning, Sutta Goswami was not there. They had started the Yagya before his coming. Mm-hmm. So, the overall intent was to benefit anyway. They had a very good heart because they wanted to benefit the world. Janahitam. Janahitam means beneficial to the whole world. So they were very good. The intent was first class. But must have been, according to Vishwanath, some inclination towards, Svagakama. But anyway, we have seen, as soon as they contacted Sutta Goswami, immediately, it's going to come up anytime, and you will see it's mentioned by the Acharyas. The Yagya became a pretext, a show. They were no more engaged in it.
I have a question.
Yes.
As you mentioned, the like Sonak Rishi and others, they assemble there for Yagya, and I mean, there is such a shift, a huge shift in consciousness from, as you were mentioning, they were trying to perform the Yagya, yes, for the benefit of others, but also they had this desire to go to Sarkarok. But then, how come such a big shift of consciousness?
Yeah, that is the same question as Sundar Prabhu. See, it appears in 4. Svagaya Lokaya. Look at 114. Satram Svagaya Lokaya. So in other words, Svagaya Lokaya means he, the Lord, who's glorified in heaven. So in other words, they wanted to go to Svagalok, but for the sake of glorifying the Lord. So they were not so fallen. We say, oh, it's a Sakama Bhakta, No, be careful. For them, perhaps due to a lack of knowledge, it's mentioned by the Acharyas that Shonaka Rishi is a spokesperson. It falls under the category of Jigyasu. When you take 7 to 16, the Sukritina is the epitome of the Jigyasu. Is the perfect inquirer. So they wanted to go there, Svagaya Lokaya, for the sake of glorifying the Lord. So they are not regular Sakama Bhakta, you understand? They have a lofty aim in going to Svagalok. You follow? They were not regular Sakama Bhakta. They were Svagaya Lokaya. In other words, they're going there to glorify the Lord. That is why they had the proper frame of mind to receive knowledge from Sutta Goswami. Just like Arjun in the Gita doesn't want to fight, but you have seen in the first chapter, O Madhav, O Rishikesh, O Achyut, is still praying to the Lord. Madhusudan, please kill my demon like doubts. So at the same time, is falling into Yogamaya because his senses are taken over by Rishikesh, the master of the senses, for the sake of edifying mankind. So apparently, yes, he doesn't want to fight. He's putting out 5 reasons for not fighting. But at the same time, he's praying to the Lord. So Prabhupada says he has the proper consciousness. He's a gentle soul. He has compassion even for the opposite camp. So he's fit to receive knowledge. In the same way, Shonaka and his friends, okay, they were Jigyasu, but they had the proper frame of mind to receive knowledge. That is why Sutta Goswami came. Because why did he come, Sutta Goswami? Because already they were engaged into beneficial work for mankind. Already their purpose, their aim was good. And now they changed, instead of going into home, fire yagya, they shifted to svadhyaya yagya. It's mentioned in the 4th chapter of the Gita. There's different types of yagya according to the consciousness. So they carried on the yagya, but they shifted to a different type of yagya, meaning hearing from Bhagavatam.
So the yagya, were they performing with the mindset to go to heaven where the Lord is glorified? I mean,
they wanted to go to Svarga, not for the sake of enjoyment like a regular.
But they wanted to go to
yes, but for the sake, it's mentioned by the Acharyas, but I didn't mention that in 114. For the sake of searching for the Lord, find that Lord who is glorified in heaven.
But isn't it mentioned in the scriptures that it's easier to come closer to the Lord, to find the Lord on the earthly planet than in heaven?
Yeah, so as I say, they don't have the full picture they don't have the Siddhant right.
Okay.
They don't have the Siddhant right, the Siddhanta. That is why Sutta Goswami is going to enlighten them so much. Within a few chapters, you will see. Already it appears in the 1st chapter, they will forego this yagya. It's coming up very soon. They will stop the yagya practically. Sutta Goswami is so powerful. In no time, he has changed their consciousness. And you know the verse in the CC. Lavamatra Sarasiti oil, even a fraction of a second. Can you imagine the loftiness of Sutta Goswami? He has memorized the whole Bhagavatam by heart upon hearing it once only. So when you find a devotee of that caliber, in no time he becomes purified. In no time. You follow?
Yes.
Okay, 15.
O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use.
Okay, so please explain a little bit, Harinishna.
So in this verse, it explains that the Lord devotee are more powerful than the Ganges because they have taken Well, Ganges also take shelter of Krishna, but the devotees took shelter of Krishna, and I mean, just by their Ganges takes a long time to purify one, but if anybody comes in contact with a pure devotee of the Lord, can be purified immediately. I'm just paraphrasing the
It's good.
purport.
It's good. There's no harm in doing that. It's totally natural. Prabhupada is our grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So, Mad Bhaktya Puja Vyadika. And Lord Krishna tells Uddhav, the worship of my bhakta is more powerful than my worship. Aradhanam Saveshnam Vishnu Rajata Panta Tasmat Parandaram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. Tadiya is even more powerful than Vishnu worship. Tadiya. Tadiya means paraphernalia, devotees, tulasi. So even though Jiva Goswami explained, Svarduni means Ganges. And he says actually, Ganges means it's an incarnation of Krishna. Ganges is Vishnu Padi. She comes from the lotus feet of Krishna. But yet, that is why, do you know the story in Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmyam? She's telling the Lord, how will I get purified in Kali Yuga? All the gundas basically will come and bathe in my waters. How will I get purified? Because remember Bhagirathi, he brought her down. Remember the story?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was one of the main points. How will I get purified in Kali Yuga? And what is the answer? This is the verse. Prabhupada said, this is the verse. By the pure devotees taking bath in your waters, my dear Devi, my dear Ganga Devi, all your waters will be purified. Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatas, you know the verse. When Vidur comes back after 38 years to the Hastinapur, the battle is over, everything is finished. Yudhishthira is telling that verse. Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatas Tirti Bhuta Soyam Vibhu Tirti Kuvanti Tirtani Swantam Stena Gadabhuta. It's telling Vidur, you are a Tirt personified. Can you imagine? It's a moving Tirtha. Prabhupada is a moving Tirtha. They are moving Tirtha. What to speak of the Ganges, they are more powerful than practically they are moving holy dams. Let's put it this way.
Wow, this
moving holy dam is a moving holy dam. So how can you beat such a person? There's no question.
But I have the question: why the Ganges is direct? It's an incarnation of Krishna.
Yes.
And it's emanating directly from the lotus feet of Krishna.
Yes.
So what makes the difference? What makes the pure devotees more powerful and the purification much faster by contacting pure devotees than bathing in the Ganges? Actually, what is the?
Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That's my own 1 cent take on it. Because especially those who there's a verse. If you go only to the holy dam to take bath, to just like you visit your place of birth, to take photos, there's a verse in Bhagavatam. It's useless. You have to go and inquire from the sadhus. So oftentimes those persons who take bath in Yamuna, Sarasvati, the next second or the next day or the next week, they're going to perform sin again. Whereas if you follow the instructions, Guru Vani, if you follow the Guru Vani of the sadhu, of course you have to follow. If you don't follow, you stand the same, basically. But if you follow, that keeps you from sinning again. You follow?
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's more powerful. Like if you stick, even let's put it the other way around. Someone has never been to India. Okay, it happens. Devotees sometimes they're a little poor, or they have no time, or so many kids, whatever. But they follow Srila Prabhupada strictly. They are by far more superior than someone who takes casual bathing every day in Ganga, and who performs a little bit of Maya here and there. They are by far more superior. They have never been to India, never even bathed in the Ganga, because they follow strictly the pure devotee. They are much better off. You follow?
Yeah.
So basically the whole process of philosophy is given here, if you ask me. It's a very, and even Sridhar Swami, this verse is powerful. He's saying, yes, Ganga is by far the foremost of all holy places, but same point as Shonaka is saying, but the holy place of the glorification of Sri Krishna, which has now appeared in the Yadu dynasty, makes the Ganga insignificant. So in other words, it means what? Shushrusho Shashadamanasya Vasudeva Katarushi. If you serve a devotee who is freed from vice, you gain an affinity for hearing the message of Bhagavatam. So, of course, you may say, I can serve the Ganga, but how can you serve the Ganga? You can offer Ganga to Ganga, okay, great. What else? You know, you can use Ganga Jal to water the plants in your garden, okay. But I mean, if you serve a devotee who is free from vice, you make leaps and bounds advancement, you know, because from that service to the devotee, you gain an affinity to hear. You have a taste for hearing. That's unbeatable if you have a taste for hearing Krishna Katha. Practically, if you lack Krishna Katha, you have already one foot in the spiritual world, provided you don't stop, of course. You know. But it's a great boon to have an affinity for hearing the Krishna Katha. So it's a great boon.
I noticed also, thank you, Prabhu, very good. I noticed also that Prabhupada translate taken shelter. Those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet, the Lord can at once sanctify. The Ganges can sanctify. It doesn't mean they sanctify, they can, but if the person approaches a sadhu but doesn't take advantage of him, or get in touch with a sadhu but doesn't take advantage, he can purify you, but doesn't mean you will get purified if you don't take advantage of it.
Exactly. That's a two-way traffic.
Prabhupada used the word, he says he can purify here in the verse. Yeah,
exactly.
It reminds me also this verse about the Kiratas, Unandra, Pulinda.
Exactly.
Means the devotees, no, who have taken shelter of, taking shelter of those who have taken shelter, no?
Exactly. Prabhavishnave Namaha. Yeah. So, just like Vishwanath is adding here, those who have taken shelter of the Lord's 2 feet, and he compares the devotees, he's saying the devotees are the Lord's 2 feet. They purify people of the contamination of ignorance immediately, just by people remembering those devotees. You can see, if you remember Prabhupada, you remember Burijan, you remember your guru, you know, just by remembrance. It's very powerful. You are about to do a little nonsense, but what would my guru say? Immediately, it removes the avidya. This is the power of remembrance, even. What to speak of serving is instruction. So, how much purification there is in touching those devotees, serving those devotees, seeing, even seeing, taking darshan of Prabhupada, of your guru, of a pure devotee, Jananivas. You know, I used to serve under him. It's amazing personality. This is understood. So even I think it's in the end of the first chapter, first canto, it says, by how remembering you, our houses become sanctified. What to speak of seeing you, touching you, washing your feet, offering you a seat. This is it's called we should not forget, it's called I was quoting the verse Padma Puran. Aladanam Savesham, Vishnu Adivanta, Tasmat Param Dharam Devi, Tadiyanam. It's called Tadiya. Tadiya is very powerful. You worship the shoes of the Guru, you worship, like Mahaprabhu gave his own stool to his little tabouret to Gopal Bhatta Goswami. This one he gave the Kopin, this one he gave the Kuntimala. It's extremely powerful. That is why in Mayapur we have put this furniture, this piece of furniture with some paraphernalia, of the Guru, like Teacher Ramaj. Okay, so now it goes, that's the natural flow, 16. Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel, not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? Who is there? Is there such a person? So it reminds me of a verse. I don't know if of course we haven't covered that verse. It's way ahead of us. I'll give you the clue. Right in the beginning of the 10th canto, Maharaj Parikshit is telling, Nivritata Sher Upagi Yamanat Bavo Shadash Shrotamanu Biramat. If we have given up the glorification of the material world, only then can we glorify the spiritual world. And then the same ending as this is saying, who will not pay attention? Only a Atmaha or Pashugna. Pashugna means a butcher. Or Atmaha. Atmaha means Sri Upanishad, the killer of the soul. Atmaha Janaha. They are killing themselves by not paying attention to Krishna consciousness. Who will not hear? And it reflects with 1110, remember? It's a contrast with 1110. Prayanal Parusha Sabya, Manda, how does it go? Kalavasmin Yugeshanaha. Even though the ocean sea is, this Kaladosh Nidarajan is full of faults, but yet, Kirtanadav Krishna Siya, Mukta Sangha, there's one quality, Ek Guna. This is the holy name of the Lord, 14, or Krishna Katha. Basically, it's the same. And then in 16, Srila Prabhupada paraphrases Anyabilash Shunyam Gana Kaman every time. Did you notice? Right in the beginning. He reminds us pure devotional service means that's what it is. If you're not covered by Kam, Gyan, etc., you're not into self-aggrandizement, this is pure bhakti. So we have been pure bhakta at times, very often times. Very often we have been pure devotees. But the problem is we don't stay on that platform. When we stay on that platform, it's called Nishta Bhakta. For the time being, we are still being allured, pulled down by the 6 symptoms of Anishtita Bhakti, as given by Vishwanath in Madhurya Kadambini. But once that is cleared, then we are much more fixed up. So, do you have any questions on 16? Yes. Let's see if we have any homework on this. I'm trying to remember. If I skip one question, yes, there's one question here. How to get over the hurdle? It's mentioned in 16.
What?
Hurdles, ça veut dire l'obstacle. How to get over the hurdle? It's mentioned in 16.
Did you ask us this question?
Yeah, actually, perhaps that was my mistake. Because I started to send you a first batch, but I didn't send you the second batch. Alinishta told me it's enough, so I didn't do it. So this is my but okay, that it's a rhetoric question then. How to get over the hurdle is mentioned at bottom of the purport. We must open the road. It's a beautiful expression. We must open the road to understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna and glorify him for his virtuous activities. So just engross ourselves in Srimad Bhagavatam, basically. Just like Lord Brahma is telling us, Stanisita Shrutigatam Tanuvan Manubir. We don't have to change our position. We don't have to change our position. Okay. So now we're coming to another question, 17.
His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narada sing of them. Please therefore speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performed in his various incarnations. Lila avatars, no?
Yeah, actually Vishwanath explains here. It's
Purushas?
What does it say here? Let me get Purushavatars, yes. Purushavatars. 18 will be more. Jiva Goswami says 18 is Purush, Gunavatars, Lilavatars. 18, but here 17 it's Purushavatars. And it says Dadatakala. See, it's a beautiful expression. Dadatakala. It means he who supports the forms of the avatars. You know? So who is that? Who is the person who supports the forms of the avatars? Says Krishna. There's a verse, 1:223, beautiful verse, date. Date means to accept. Look at 1:223, it's in the same line of thought. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three gunas, passion, goodness, ignorance, and just for the sake of the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts date, the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. In other words, Krishna is someone else, but he accepts those three Gunavatars forms for the sake of maintenance, creation, maintenance, and destruction. And of course, Sutta Goswami explained that of the three, Vishnu is the best because this is Guna, Sattva Guna. But date means you accept the role of you accept the role of playing le Général de Gaulle. You're not Général de Gaulle. You know, you are an actor and you accept the role. So Krishna accepts the role of the Guna avatars, but he himself is someone else. So in that sense, 17 would be, according to the Acharyas, the Purusha avatar. This is the fourth question. And by the way, this rings the bell with, it says here, Jiva Goswami says, again, the same point as 4. Sva means Svagalok, Ga means glorified. So we are talking about the sages, you know, we have to understand they are not little boys. Huh? The sages want to glorify that Lord in Svagalok. It is explained here again by Jiva Goswami. That is why they wanted to go actually to Svagalok, to glorify that Lord. You know, some people think, well, if I go to some higher planets, I will be more fit to glorify the God, which is not necessarily true because there's so much enjoyment. So Sutta Goswami came in the picture to tell them, look, let's do it now. You know, let's become totally Krishna conscious now. This is what happened, basically. We don't have to go anywhere else. We stay here and we glorify Krishna.
Well, it's like Gopkumar, no, he's going higher and higher, but each time is to glorify the Lord. Yes,
because sometimes in common mind, you know, people are thinking, oh, I have to leave this earth, I have to go to heaven, just like the Christian, I have to go au paradis, then I will be able to meet the Lord. But that's ludicrous in one sense, because right here, especially on this planet, Earth, twice in the 5th canto, the demigod says, we want to take birth in the Govardhan, in the Sankirtan movement. It's easier, it's shorter. We want to take birth. It's a privileged place now because of Mahaprabhu came, Panchtatva. It's a privileged planet. Haridas Thakur came, Prabhupada came. So we are privileged actually now. Better than being in Swagalok by far. So Karmani, Tasya Karmani, Vishwanath says, Karmani refers to the avatars who are killing the Asuras. So we want to hear about Krishna, Vatari, but we want to hear about everything. Please, Suta Goswami, tell us everything. We want to go into all the corners that you know. They have a drive. They are driven by their loriam to hear, you know. They have, he himself, you know, you have to remember, Suta Goswami is called Ugra Shrava. He was, how do you say? Ugra Shrava means his hearing was extremely powerful. So now he finds himself in a different position. He has to speak, but he has heard in a very rapt manner and in a very, how do you say, enraptured manner. Ugra means terrible manner, not terrible negatively. How do you say in English? I can't find the word. He has heard in a extremely voracious, I could say voracious manner, yeah, like that. And now he can understand those persons in front of him because he himself was like that when he heard Shukdev Goswami. So now he is the speaker, but he used to be the hearer. So now he finds devotees who are like him when he was with Shukdev. So he can relate to that. So here in 17, you know, please therefore speak to us. All the Purusha avatars adventures, how he killed Vinashaya Shadushkritam, how he killed the demons. Not only person, see, it's not only loriam to see a devotee, to see Prabhupada. Prabhupada used to say, it's not necessarily those who are close to me who are advanced. Those who are engaged in the activities. Udar. Udar means magnanimous. And they will get the bliss. They will get the nectar. They are engaged in service. They are far, in one sense, superior to those who are close to always, you know, Prabhupada, we love you, we love you. Just like, you know, one time Vishal Prabhu, do you know Vishal Prabhu?
I heard about him.
I remember a very senior devotee. He joined in San Francisco, 68. So one time he told me the story, very funny story. You know the verse, we're coming to that 22. Twamna, Sandarashito Datra, Kanadara, Ivarnavam, you are the captain. You are the captain of the, he told Prabhupada was coming out of the Krishnavaram Mandir, you know, it's been raining, there were pools of water everywhere. Prabhupada is walking out, some devotees are behind, going on morning walk. And all of a sudden, Vishal Prabhu, he starts quoting that verse loud. Kanadarami Varnavam, oh, you are the captain, and you're going to save us. Prabhupada turned to him, he said, do something. Just, you know, do something. And he said, clean the pools. There's so many flag d'eau. Clean them. So, you know, Prabhupada is very practical. Very practical. You know? So to not only the person, but to hear the activities, do the activities also. It's practical, you know. Anyway. This is, okay, let's carry on. Where are we? Anything to say on this is a very powerful question. Huh? This is the 4th question, I believe. And of course, Prabhupada goes at great lengths in the purport. We should not be bewildered by this Amrisha, just like we discussed in 111. Tejo Varimidam Yata Vinimayu Yatra Krisago Mrisha. Almost real. The glamour, of material life, the glamour. There's a glamour. You hear the showbiz people, there's so many magazines. What did he do last night? With whom is he hanging out with? All this glamour, you know. This is Amrisha. We are attracted by false things, actually. The real thing is here. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. No. And then this beautiful point at the end of the purport of 17. I don't know if you noticed. Prabhupada draws a line between two types of incarnations here. Did you notice? They are not on the same footing.
Yeah, the Purusha avatar,
Yes.
and then the plenary portions of the Lord.
Yes, in other words, it draws a demarcation. It's very interesting. Incarnations like Brahma, Rudra, Manu, Prithu, Vyas are his material qualitative incarnations. But his incarnations like Ram, Nishinga, Varaha, Vamdev are his transcendental incarnations. And of Krishna, of course, is Avatari, fountainhead of. But did you notice why it draws a demarcation? Material qualitative incarnations, spiritual transcendental incarnations. Can you explain that? Of course, the key verse. What is the emperor verse of Srimad Bhagavatam?
What?
The emperor is meant. Yes, this is the emperor verse. So if you read, anyway, I don't want to answer so quickly. Can you try to come up with questions? I mean, answers. There's different types of incarnations. We know that 6 types of avatar.
Well, Brahma, Rudra, Manu, they are not Vishnu Tattvas. They are, Vyas. I'm not sure. Prithu. They are like what you call them, empowered. Saktyavesh, no?
So I made some research on this. If you look 1 through 26, 1 through 27, and then 1 through 28, obviously is the key verse. Jiva Goswami explained, for instance, Kumaras and Narad. They are called Gyan Bhakti Shakti Amsha Avesh. That's a bit technical. Gyan Bhakti Shakti Amsha Avesh.
Narada.
Yeah, Narad and Kumar. They are called Gyan Bhakti Shakti Amsha Avesh. Now, Prithu, be careful, is very lofty. Is Kriya Shakti Amsha Avesh. It practically is a partial incarnation, very powerful Prithu, and Archie, his wife. They are called Kriya Shakti Amsh Avesh. Kriya means action.
Kriya.
It practically is the perfect king. You have seen when Prithu was coronated, Lord Vishnu came, Lord Shiv came, Lord Brahma came. So now, talking about the other group, Matasya, Kumadev, Jiva Goswami says Sakshat Bhagavan. They are direct expansion. There is called Amsh. Sakshat Bhagavan. So they are Vishnu Tattva. Then in 27, 1 through 27, Jiva Goswami goes further. He explained the Manus, the Rishis, the Saptarishi, Gautam, the Bharadwaj, Jamwadagni, etc. There are 7. The demigods, Indradev, Prajapati, they are Kala of the Lord. They are called Kala. And then Prabhupada explained in the purport of 1 through 27, he says, Kala refers to Vibhuti, not incarnations. Very interesting. Kala refers to Vibhuti. For instance, you have seen in 10th chapter Gita, Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means the excellence of the Lord, the opulence of the Lord. Like Indradev, Krishna says amongst the demigod, I'm Indradev. So, in other words, it's not an incarnation, it's a kala, technically, a vibhuti. When less potency is manifested, it's called vibhuti. when more potency is manifested, it's called Avesh. You can refer yourself to 135 also, well explained in 135, 1326, 27.
Just need to go 1 minute, Prabhu. Sorry.
Yes,
Just 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. You follow, Adenishta?
I'm thinking about Indra.
Sorry?
I'm thinking about Lord Indra. If you go through his pastimes.
Like our Manu, Vashvat Manu, this is Vibhuti.
Yeah, I mean, why would Krishna? I mean, Krishna says, among demigods I am Indra. I mean, okay, just my mind. Like, when I know about Indra's pastime, he's always making some mistakes,
Yeah, but be careful. There's a verse 10:33-29. It says, the demigods have so much piety that they can burn into ashes any moral transgression they may perform. You have to be very careful on passing judgment on demigods. Be careful. Huh? They are Vibhutamat Sattva, they are extremely lofty. If we were put now in the place of Indra, we would be in no time carried away by Maya. In no time. We don't have the same adhikar. Look at this. The status of powerful controllers is not harmed by any apparently audacious transgression of morality we may see in them. For they're just like fire, which devours everything fed into it and remains unpolluted. 10:33-29. So we should not be careful. Oh, Maya, Indra is in total Maya and pass delegatory comment. You have to be very careful. It's a different adhikar altogether. 18.
Mm-hmm.
18.
Should I read?
Yeah.
O wise Sutta, please narrate to us the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Godhead's multi-incarnations, such auspicious adventures and pastimes of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, are performed by his internal powers.
Yeah. So this is another question, by the way. Fifth question. Huh? You can see how important is this first chapter. Remember, it is the threshold of Bhagavatam. We are being ushered in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you miss the first step, and let's say you climb a staircase, you miss the first step, what happens oftentimes? You just fall flat because you miss the first step. So don't miss the first chapter. This is going to basically, how do you say, it's going to unfold the whole Bhagavatam. This, just like, I mean, I would say it's more important even than the first chapter of the Gita, because first chapter of the Gita is more like continuation of Mahabharata, who is who, the Shanya Darshan, the soldiers, etc. But here, we are right from the onset, we are immediately thrown into the topic. Immediately. There's no time to prepare. We are finishing Gita, up we are being thrown into Gita, Bhagavatam. Dharma Projito Ketavatra. Immediately. Yesterday is setting the tone.
Since you're mentioning it, Prabhu, is it right when we say, well, quite often I tell people that when they're gonna read Bhagavad Gita first time, I tell them you can skip the first chapters. I mean, because no, is it okay? I said
personally, when I teach, I always spend at least 2 hours explaining the background of the Gita, the historical context. I spend a little time on Mahabharata. Otherwise, they just hate the first chapter.
Yeah, but you teach to like potential or already devotees. But when you tell a person who knows nothing about nothing.
Personally, I wouldn't say that because I don't find it's very kind to towards the first chapter.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember, each chapter is a personality. Eh? I don't know if you have heard in India, the devotees, very solid devotee, they know Sanskrit and everything. Before each chapter, I've heard, they glorify the chapter first. And they mention this is a person. And so, we have to be careful not to criticize any chapters of the Gita.
It's not criticizing, but they get stuck with all these names, of the soldiers, the fighters is practically only names.
But, true. I agree. It's a little unpalatable, as we say. But again, that's why it is incumbent upon us to follow the persons. And I would say, my dear sir, by the way, you bought me the book the other day. If you want, we can discuss a little further. By the way, we have courses, blah, blah, blah. You should enroll in Bhakti Pravesh. Otherwise, on their own, even what to speak of first chapter, even the third chapter, on their own, how much can they glean? How much can they? They have a boon, definitely, but there's punya, definitely. It's definitely transcendental punya. But most of the persons, they say, well, I'm sorry, I tried to read, but I don't understand anything. So the real thing is we have to follow them up and spoon feed them. It's like spoon feeding a baby. Yeah. Basically. Okay, 18. So here, we are talking according to Jiva Goswami, Gunavatars, Purushavatars, and Lilavatars. Shubha, auspicious. Vishwanath translates non-material. So, and it's mentioned also by Jiva Goswami that Bhubhara Haranadi Rupas 1050.9. Bhu means earth, Bhumi. Bhara means burden. Harana means to remove. So we want to, basically it means, again, Gunavatars, Purushavatars, Lilavatars. And also we want to hear. That's why, why do you think there's so much Lila in the Bhagavatams, even 10th canto? They are removing the burden of the world. Oftentimes I hear, my sister, all these people, oh, it's full of killing, it's full of blood. How can you say it's transcendental? But Jiva Goswami, he makes the point, Bhubhara Haranadi Rupas. We want to hear, Shonaka is saying, we want to hear also when he removes the burden of the world. Vinashaya Chadushkitam. It's when you have seen Ravan you have seen in India, they light up Ravan, they made a big ceremony practically. They're happy to kill Ravan, When Hiranyakashipu is killed, flowers are coming from the sky. We want to hear that. It's not only, oh, Krishna is very kind and okay, that's nice, but sometimes he has to, mettre le point sur la table un peu.
It kills the anarthas within also, no?
Yeah, of course. We should not skip. Oh, I don't like this part. It's not. I don't like it. It's not palatable.
We don't want the anarthas within us to be killed.
Yeah, some devotees just like, oh, I don't like this Shrishti Tattva, the creation and Sankhya Yoga. Come on, it's. I don't know why it is there in the first place. Even. No, it's all transcendental. Some devotees love it. Some devotees will tell you the other way around. I love Shrishti Tattva. So we cannot just pick and choose. It's not proper. Anything else you want to say on 18? And of course, 18, Prabhupada says, they are benefited. Even if you don't like it, you are benefited. Satam prasangam mamavirya samvido ritkanakrit prasayana kataha tajoshanat ajva pragavat vartmani shraddha bhakti ratir anukramishati. Sequentially it goes bhakti rati anukramishati. Bhakti, then rati is very high. Rati means taste, ruchi, attraction. It goes in the ear, it goes in the heart. Parayana, it goes like rasayana kataha. It's like a tonic. It how do you say, invigorates your consciousness. You know? It's tonic. It's a medication. It's like practically personified medication. You know, Bhagavatam. It's you cannot go any higher than this. No? Still, we're complaining. Oh, I don't like this. Just like my son, you know. My wife is always giving him good stuff. I mean, first class food. And, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I'll take this only. I'm telling him people are dying. Children are dying around the world. You know, we should not be choosy. Okay, so 19.
We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment.
Yeah, so this is the proof. The proof is in the pudding. See? Exactly what it is. So please explain, Hare Nishna.
The transcendental pastimes of the Lord, actually what I learned is when we start developing the taste to hear the pastimes of the Lord, even one pastime, if we hear it one time, second time, third time, even so many times, the pleasure, the rasa, the pleasure that we'll feel, it keeps on increasing.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Otherwise, we've been here so 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I mean, come on. By now, we should have been satiated. What to speak of pure devotees, you know? I mean, I've been teaching for a while, you know, and I don't become satiated. Even Sri Isho. People say, oh, Sri Isho is basic. Come on. All the Sri Isho is the best book I have seen to defeat Mayavadisms. And I've never seen such a more powerful book than that to defeat Mayavadism. There's no satiation. Because you may read, but you may not fully understand. Second reading, second teaching. Oh, yes. Now I understand more. You know, it's transcendental. And go ahead, you wanted to say more?
not really. I just remembered a class where someone was giving a lecture and there was a Prabhupada disciple.
Yes.
He was busy in the kitchen and later he came and he said to the devotee, the one who was speaking, he apologized that he couldn't attend the class. And the devotee was like, Prabhu, you already know all these things. You don't need to sit in my class. Then the Prabhupada disciple told him, if I knew, if I would have realized, I would have been sitting in your class. So the Prabhupada disciple wants to emphasize that hearing, once we hear, that doesn't mean we are done with it, we understood.
Exactly. Gopi Panal Prabhu was like this also. Always sitting any class. Very embarrassing if you give the class. And even look at Arjun. Give me a verse in the shlok, in the Gita, that Arjun himself is echoing that verse 19 today. Arjun has the same, even in the Gita. People say, oh, it's very basic. No. Arjun is already echoing that point. Which verse? I'll give you the clue, the 10th chapter.
Mm.
And Krishna is going to pull his ear, actually, pull his leg a little bit.
What it means, pull his leg.
Pull his leg means he's going to make fun of him a little bit, because he's going to call him Hanta. Hanta in Sanskrit means darling. You know, say in Hindi, beta. Beta. Beta means my dear boy. You know, you say beta to a young boy. Beta, beta. Hanta in Sanskrit means my loved one, practically, my dear one. So look at the 1018. O Janardhan, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So did you notice there's a contrast? How can you taste with your ear? This is exactly what Krishna is going to tell in 1019. It doesn't appear in Prabhupada's Gita, because one way or the other it didn't reveal that. But the acharyas are saying, oh, Arjun, you taste with your ear. Usually you taste with your tongue. But Arjun is so much in bliss hearing that it's like tasting. You follow? He used that term. I want to taste the nectar of your words. Oftentimes you hear words, you don't taste words. Mm-hmm. But see, Krishna purposefully used the verb shrinvata. And it's not according to you hear with your ears and you taste with your tongue. So Krishna is making a little joke about that, you know, in 1019. Hanta. Hanta means my loved one, you know. Krishna is so pleased to see Arjuna like this. He wants to hear more about me. I feel really much elated. So now Vishwanath explained here something interesting. There's 3 ways. He explained about 3 ways here. Let me tell you. 3 ways. Yeah. This is 19. Okay. You know, he gives a beautiful example. In 3 ways, one knows that one has had enough of something. How can you tell if someone has had enough of something? Let's say you serve him food. If you have sufficient food in your belly, well, you can conclude I had enough. Then there's another way, by lack of awareness of the taste. Let's say you are being served something which is extremely refined, you know, and you don't know what it is. You cannot put your finger on it. So because you're not aware of that delicacy, very soon you will be satiated. And then the third way is by lack of relishing the object. Comme on dit en français, on ne donne pas des truffes au pourceau. And if you give a very refined dish to a pig, because it's so gross, he's not going to relish it much. He is used to grosser type of food. So in the same way, Vishwanath is saying, there is an insufficiency. The hearer, meaning the sages, even though they relish, but it's still insufficient. We want to hear more, because that sound that enters the ear, we want to get more taste from that, from the sound entering the ear. You know, just like you listen to a good music, you get a taste from the sound entering your ear because you like that music. But the sages are saying we want to enjoy the taste of your words, entering our ears more. We got it already, but we want to get it more. So, they're getting attached to the rasa, the pleasure of having the words of sutta entering. And actually, they are anticipating. Remember, sutta hasn't spoken as yet. So it's very interesting because it's all in the air, It's all in the air.
What do you
Because he hasn't started to speak the Bhagavatam as yet.
mean?
But you have to understand another thing, it's very subtle. Remember, before the Bhagavatam, this is Bhagavatam starting now. But before Bhagavatam, he had already started to speak Krishna Katha to them. You know that?
No.
Yeah, he had already spoken Mahabharata and different things. So, in other words, they are accustomed to his Katha. But now they know it's going to come to a different stage. So that is why we never tire of hearing your transcendental pastimes. Already they heard a little bit in Mahabharata, because Mahabharata is full of glorification, is the fifth Veda. And they have those who have developed a taste keep on relishing hearing at sadhu, pade pade, at every moment. They got used to his Katha. They want to hear more. Rasa Gyanam. See, ras means taste, humor. There's some liquid mellow practically. Gyanam. Those who are conversant.
So you said you gave these 3 points from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. You said the first one, first symptom is that once test the food, no?
Yeah. So I can send it to you, perhaps. I will send you the paragraph.
The second one is because you said it's too refined. So they actually, for them, it's not too refined because they can appreciate it, means they are on the level of appreciating something. You said if it's too refined, we don't want anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too refined or some test that we don't know or we cannot put our finger on it. So
okay, so perhaps I should start again. In 3 ways, one knows that one has had enough of something and is satisfied. First thing, which is a common understanding, you ate enough, sufficient quantity in the belly, so you are satisfied. Bas, you ate enough. By lack of awareness of the taste, let's say you are eating a new food, totally unknown to you. So because you're not aware of that taste, it's peculiar, it's a bit unusual, you're going to be satisfied very quickly. Number 3, by lack of relishing the object. Just like if you give very refined food to a pig, it's so much gross, it's not going to really relish agva, for instance, or rubbery, because it's so gross. So then Vishwanath gives the analogy. In this verse, there is insufficient shi for the hearers, Shrinvatam, because the exploits are not directly present. They are only present only in sound, in the ether, contacting the ear. So, they get to know about the kata from the akash, the ether contacting the ear of the kata. Satisfaction is negated for a person who is not capable of appreciating the taste or rasa. If you cannot appreciate the taste because, you're not on that level, you're not going to be satisfied. Like you can see, you speak about Krishna to a public audience, and very shortly 1 or 2 persons will go. Because
so that's why you said, sorry, Babu, that's why you said that they're already familiar with this test because he was speaking to them about Krishna Katha before.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it's not new to them. It's not new.
Yeah. So, but now, see, that's why you have to understand. That is why I mentioned that in the first class, but perhaps I will repeat it again. That is why they are accustomed to some extent to Sutta Goswami. Yeah. So, and that is why by now that answers the question of Adonishka. Why? Don't think they have given up this idea of the home yagya just now, because they've been listening to Krishna Katha before. But now, because upon being asked by the sages, now the sutta is going to say, okay, now I'm going to speak the real Katha. Because, see, they have been accustomed to Vedas, but Mahabharata in no way is on the same footing as Bhagavatam. So they got purified, and now their taste has totally been sparkled. You know, it has been how do you say, rekindled, just like you rekindling the fire. So now they're very much eager. That is why Suta Goswami didn't speak right on Bhagavatam, because he wanted to whet the appetite.
Mm.
That's why they say svadu, svadu, pade. They repeat themselves. Svadu, svadu, pade, pade. It's getting, you know, the momentum is increasing. The topics of the law are so excellent. It's increasing, pade, pade, at every step. They tasted something. Now they want to taste more. It's increasing. Okay, 20.
Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balaram, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts.
Yeah, this is beautiful. So it's, see, the Sanskrit Guda Kapata Manusha. So it means, Prabhupada translate, okay, mask, okay, Guda, like Narakriti, Naralila. They are God, but actually they play the part of humans, Kapata, Manusha. Apparently they look like human, but actually they are God themselves. But Vishwanath says they are deceptive. It gives a different slant to it. Guda Kapata Manushaha, they are deceptive to a bhakta. It gives a different slant. Like Jarasandha, for instance. It's a good example. Jarasandha was worshipping Vishnu, don't forget. But he wasn't a bhakta. You know, just like you may be worshipping someone, but you're not into it. You just do it out of local tradition. So this is what Vishwanath says here. Kapata Manushaha means they are deceptive to a bhaktas. You know, you can see, remember Jarasandha, beautiful story. They disguise themselves, remember?
Mm-hmm.
They disguise themselves because they knew Jarasandha is quite like Karna. Is extremely generous in dan. He never refuses charity. But you can see Krishna didn't go straight to Jarasandha as he is. He disguised himself as a Brahmana. Arjuna also. Bhim also. Because Kapata Manushaha is deceptive. Towards the Abhakta is deceptive. And of course, the Acharyas, they bring the conversation higher. You remember when the gopis in the dead of night, they left everything, the baby, they were feeding the baby, they're feeding the husband, they're cooking, they're boiling the milk, they heard the flutes. Immediately they dropped everything and they went in the dead of the night to meet with Krishna. What did Krishna say? Remember? Go back. So he deceived the gopis. But be careful, what kind of deception is this?
Increasing
the prem, the gopi prem. So in other words, Sri Krishna is very tricky. He can deceive the abhakta, very left, right, and corner. But for the gopis, it's not the same type of deception. It's to increase their prem. And then at the end of the day, he's going to say, I'm defeated, I cannot repay. How is it? Now, I'm forgetting the verse now. Now, it says, I cannot repay you. I'm conquered. I cannot repay. So because he has been increasing the gopi prem deliberately. So he comes to a stage he cannot repay. He says, I'm sorry, I cannot repay. So Krishna is very deceptive. But it's always for the good of others. Even when he deceives an abhakta, it's for his own good at the end of the day. Okay, so let's discuss about 20. So basically, Srila Prabhupada, what does it do here? Did you read through the purport?
No, I didn't.
Okay, at least you're frank.
No,
I didn't.
Me neither.
So everything is resting on you, Harinishta now. Because I didn't read the purport also. So who read the purport? No, I read the purport.
No, I didn't read.
I'm not like you. So, did you read the purport or not, Harinishta?
No,
Wow.
I said I didn't.
I mean, I've got only 2 students and they don't read the purport even.
Sorry, Prabhu, I was so busy, I mean.
Yeah, he has a good excuse. Sundar is going on 2 weeks work.
Reading tomorrow, yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah, so he's got it. But Harinishta, you had no time? So Krishna, Lord Prabhupada is going to defeat anthropomorphisms and zoomorphisms. Basically, in plain and simple terms, it means you can become God by dint of austerity. It's totally foolish. God is God at any point of time of his life. Baal, Puganda, any age is God. Doesn't have to practice to become God. This is what it is, basically. And then he explained at the end of the chapter of the purport 725. Naham Prakasha Savasya Yogamaya Samaritaha. Krishna is not forced to reveal himself. I reserve myself the right to remain hidden. People say, well, where is God? Where is God? Sorry, sir, you don't have the right attitude. This is not how he's going to reveal himself. I reserve myself the right to remain hidden. 725.
It seems also at the end of the purport that Prabhupada puts it in another way also, that Krishna is by his yoga maya, he covers himself from being known as God by Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. He says he was always accepted as an ordinary human child by his so-called father and mother and other relatives. So it's like he's covering himself also with his yoga maya, no?
Yes, and we sing every day now, Kartik. Damodar is telling Lord Damodar, I'm afraid you won't be able to conquer me as long as you retain all reverence, respect towards me. You will not be able, I'm afraid, to reach Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. Unless and until we are freed from any tinge of Udaryabhav. Udaryabhav means Ishvaryabhav, sorry. Grandeur, respect, fear, excellence, opulence. No doubt. Even if we are into Ram Bhakta, okay, even Ayodhya, but that's it. Cannot go back to Navadvip chamber, Golok chamber, Vrindavan. Every day we sing Damodar. I'm afraid you won't be able to go any further. So Vishwanath is saying, Krishna is Brahman in human form. Well put, huh? Is the Brahman personified Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram Idam Uttama, is Param Brahma in a human form.
Well, it sounds Mayavadi, no?
Yeah, but I mean, I like it personally because we say, well, Krishna is Naralila, Narakriti, and people say, well, they will have a shortcut. Oh, he's like one of us. Avajanatin Mamura Manushintan and Mashita. But Vishwanath said, no. He's Brahman, he remains Brahman, Brahmano hi pratishtaham, but in human form. In other words, Brahman as person is condensed Brahman. Condensed Brahman has appeared in a human form. He remains condensed Brahman. Lifting Govardhan at at what age? I don't know, 7, 8, I forgot. Killing Putana is like 3 months or something, you know. So it says Ati Martiani, his actions are beyond human. Even though he's a little boy, he's eating with the left hand, you know, no food, no shoes. Buddha is hidden. He's deceptive. He's very deceptive. Krishna says, amongst the crook, among crookedness, I'm in charge of crookedness, basically. Amongst the crooks, I'm the crook. There's a Gita. I'm the crooked part of the crooks. He's deceptive to materialist. Jarasandh is deceptive to the spiritual devotees, of course, for a higher purpose, Gopi Prem, you know. But you cannot approach Krishna in a straightforward manner. My Guru Maharaj used to say, love, Prem, zigzags like a snake. And I remember he used to say that a lot. He says, it's, you know, a snake you have seen? How do you say in English? It, with, slithers. It slithers like a snake. Prem slithers like a snake. Yeah. So this is beautiful verse. I mean, all these verses you can see how lofty they are. They're setting the scene of the Bhagavatam. Don't forget. 21.
Knowing well that the age of Kali has already begun, we are assembled here in this holy place to hear at great length the transcendental message of Godhead and in this way perform sacrifice.
See, something very revealing here. What happened first sentence?
They rejected their so-called yagya.
Exactly. But another point which is extremely informative, the age of Kali has already begun.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is a very important information.
Well, we knew it already because Parikshit, no? He received the age of Kali.
It's mentioned even, Lord Krishna is gone already, but it's mentioned even at the time of Lord Krishna. Kali was there but waiting. He cannot do anything. Krishna is keeping him at bay. Even Maharaj Parikshit, he's so powerful, he's keeping Kali at bay. Cannot do anything. Just like, you know, you have a very powerful king. The Gundas, the rascals, they remain indoors. They're afraid. They know. If you go to Singapore, you know Singapore. I've been to Singapore. You steal something, they cut your hand. You know, and in Singapore, I had one student in Vrindavan. The guy was preaching to the prisoners in Singapore. Can you imagine? And he was telling me far stories. I mean, I was blown away. He was telling the whole class. He told me the story. There's one Singapore guy, I mean, totally square guy, you know, married, kids, good citizen, you know, no criminal record at all. But the guy was smuggling drugs, you know, and he never been caught. Never. And he would pay, of course, you can imagine you have money from the drugs. He started to become a little well-off, you know. And of course, you have to be careful because once you live on a different footing, gradually, you know, people noticed. This guy it's happening now. His wife was wearing better clothes and all. And true enough, he got caught red-handed. No question. Death penalty.
What? Death penalty?
Yeah. They don't even discuss, or just like in France, he had a bad childhood, you know. Let's forgive him. Perhaps let's give him money also. Why not? I mean, it's foolishness, if you ask me. So death penalty. My friend, he was a devotee. He used to go to the prison of Singapore and preach, and he came upon that guy. The guy told him the story. You know, I was a good guy, but you know, I got into greed, lobe, money. I could see the enormous amount of money, you know, smuggling drugs. Singapore people have money. So he got caught and he was practically lamenting. Finished. His life is over. He's going to die anytime. Court case. So the death, they are being hanged, you know. That's how
my goodness.
And that devotee told us the story that he was preaching to all the inmates. He used car, and the Singapore authorities would let the devotees. They have a restaurant there. Actually, the devotees called Sundar Gopal also there. Very interesting.
Oh, yes, sure. Yeah.
And then it's whole underground. Restaurant is, it says, it doesn't say Govinda, it says something very plain, you know. They serve food. Not this kind. You have to be underground. Be careful. No dhoti, no kurta. Even though I was in dhoti one time for one day, but I didn't have any trouble.
It's Muslim?
No, but they don't. That's the only place where Prabhupada was refused entry.
Wow.
The only place on earth. The only place on earth they refuse entry to Prabhupada. To go back to the story, that devotee was preaching to inmates, especially death penalty inmates. And Singapore told him, okay, you can preach to them, God consciousness, we like it, go ahead. And he came across that fellow, and he taught him, of course, what did he tell him? 1114, apana samskritin goram yannam vishvasugrinan, that it can free you from death personified. It can free you from samskritin, samsara. So the person, can you imagine, is on the threshold of death. He's grabbing the instruction. He's all ears, just like the sages. He's hearing like anything. And he told me, the devotee was telling us, that person is spotted because he was next to be hanged. He was next in line.
Oh, yeah. Krishna.
So the guy was totally wrapped in attention, totally beyond normal. He knew, this is my only chance. This is my only chance. And he told me, I used to visit him every day, because death time was getting nearer. And he told us, I was the last one to see him before he got hanged. Not the very last one, the last one is the bourreau. But he told me, I saw him even after his parents.
Wow.
And the bourreau, how do you say bourreau? Because bourreau means, there's a trap. They put the rope here, and then they open the trap, and finish. So that person is called the bourreau. I don't know how you say in English. No one is there. But by then, that fellow had learned how to chant Hare Krishna, and you can rest assured, he was taking shelter of Krishna name. And the bourreau told the devotee that when he was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and when he got strangled, he was still chanting. He was like chanting. The bourreau could hear, the holy names, and then he died. So then immediately the bourreau came out and he told the devotee. The devotee was waiting outside.
Wow.
So you can just imagine his last breath. He was being strangled by the rope, still chanting.
How fortunate we are to have so much time, huh?
And we take it for granted. Oh, what to do. We are just cruising, in Krishna consciousness. This guy understood. I'm finished. I have no hope. And the devotee, he told me, he got so much enamored by this lila. He was like blown away. This is surrender.
Sure.
Because he's confronted to death. It's happening next door. You cannot cheat. You cannot pretend anymore. See? Okay, let's finish it up because it's getting late. Huh? Yeah. So come and say hello. Faut que tu manges. Hare Krishna.
Hello, Haripol, Hari. Tu vas bien? Hari Toshan.
He's very hungry. I have to feed him.
Oh.
Il a été au centre aéré. Okay, we have only 1 or 2 verses to go. Anyway, let's move on. 22 to 23 in one go, so we can finish it off.
We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of the human being. Since Sri Krishna, the Absolute Truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So here just play here a little bit, okay? So Krishna is the protector of Dharma. We hear that here, 22, 23. Dharma Vatmani, it says. Dharma Vatmani in 23. He's a protector. And he's acting, actually, there's one saying, if you protect Dharma, Dharma will protect you. So it indicates here the power of Krishna is Yogeshvara. We know that from Gita. And this is, by the way, the last question, 23.
Yeah.
The sixth question. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat panitam. And the answer, we know, Krishna svadamu pagate dharma gyan dibihi saha. 1, 2, 1, 3, 44. So svakashtam, it says here, svakashtam in 23. It means his own abode, his own sthiti, his own maryada, Vishwanath is saying. Kashta means excellence. So, but that abode, you know, Om Tat Vishnu Padamam Padam Sada Pashanti Surayaha. The pure devotees can see, but for a non-devotee, it remains invisible. People don't believe in God. It remains invisible. Anyway, I don't want to keep you any longer because we've gone overboard already. So for next lesson, we enter chapter 2. Prabhupada says a few times this is the most important chapter of the Bhagavatam.
Oh.
And he says, he told Shatadanya in Mayapur, in Tokyo, he was there in 72. He told the devotees in 72 in Tokyo, you should learn that chapter by heart. Chapter 2, if possible. It's a very important chapter. So you read ahead. I know, Sudha, you won't be around. This I know.
I'll be missing 3 classes actually.
3 classes.
This
Sunday,
Wednesday, and Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be like a single student.
No, yeah. Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday. Yeah.
Because Prabhu will be gone for 2-3 weeks. Yeah. So you read ahead. Actually, if you have time, you can read ahead also on your side. So
Yeah. And I can also listen to your. I mean, I may have time to look at your videos.
I'm trying to. I put all the classes on my YouTube channel, the institute. I'll send you the link. I've been sending you the link, I think.
Yeah, that's the link we open only on Zoom or what?
No. You click on it, it will shoot you into my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So let's see. There's 34 verses. You cover up to 21. Yeah, 21. If it's not too much, let's see if we can manage. Because these are lofty verses. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Sorry for being a bit overboard.
No problem.
Time management.
Sadhu, pade.
That's one of my drawbacks is time management. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I'll send you the recording.